The opinions expressed on this program are those of the program hosts and guests and are not necessarily those of WSTU. WSTU does not endorse products that may be mentioned. Any reproduction or retransmission of this broadcast is strictly prohibited without written consent of WSTU. It's time for Martin County Movers and Shakers. And now, here's your host.
Well, happy July, everyone. This is a month of celebrating for sure. The US of A truly is right in tow. Thanks for tuning in to Martin County Movers and Shakers, where we highlight those individuals, businesses, and groups that help to make Martin County so special and unique to the Treasure Coast. I'm your happy hostess with the mostest, Anna Valencia Tillery. This program is brought to you each and every week. Compliments of White Glove Moving and Storage. Interstate agents with Beacons Van Lines, making moving easy. And of course, we just had an incredibly successful summer food drive that I wanted to put a little healthy competition out there to the various counties, right? So we had Indian River County, St. Lucie County, Martin County, all participate. And then I said for each county, whomever yielded the most amount of food gets a complimentary on-air interview where we get to delve a little deeper as to what they do for their services and for the community. The Palm City Chamber stepped up without any additional fees or costs. They said, let us help you, White Glove Moving and Storage, promote this event because we understand that the demand for the food banks, for the food pantries, the soup kitchens goes up in the summer months. Kids are out of school. Those free lunches, those free breakfasts aren't available to them. So how can we help? And they went to their membership and said, listen, do you want to host a box? And as a result, they brought in, a dozen heaping boxes of non-perishable food items. And as a result, they have granted me the opportunity to chat one-on-one with two fine gentlemen that are incredibly active with the chamber and help with some of the behind-the-scenes things that makes the Palm City Chamber celebrating its 40th year in existence so darn special. So I welcome to the broadcast Mr. Ryan D'Annunzio of HBK CPAs and Mr. Ronnie Kirchman of Kirchman Construction. Hello, gentlemen.
Hello, how you doing?
I am so excited to be able to highlight some of these services and the things that you all do to give back, because talk radio is all about that. It's about having a great conversation with roughly 20,000+ listeners. Not a big deal, nice and personal, but being able to share a lot of that positiveness that goes on. And Ronnie, excitingly enough, Kirchman Construction and White Glove Moving has collaborated in the past.
We have, yes.
So you specialize in commercial work.
Primary commercial work, yes, ma'am.
All right. So let's talk about the project that White Glove and Kirchman Construction had the pleasure of working on.
Well, it was a project, MacArthur Clubhouse in Hope Sound. We originally built the project about 12 years ago.
Okay.
And they had a kitchen fire. And so the kitchen fire had a lot of smoke damage throughout the whole clubhouse. And so we actually went in and rebuilt the entire kitchen, remodeled the interior. And of course, we needed somebody to move all of the furniture out of the clubhouse. So who do we call?
White Glove.
That's right. White Glove.
I love it. And of course, the place looks absolutely phenomenal. And we appreciate that collaboration. And that just quickly is a testament to the power of chamber membership.
Exactly.
Where you look within for somebody trusted that you can count on, that you know will help to hit budgets, hit deadlines. Those things are all very important. And in the world of renovations and in the world of moving, deadlines are firm dates.
They are, absolutely.
You have to really be cognizant of it and make sure that you help to adhere to it. Word on the streets, kind sir, Mr. Ronnie Kirchman, you are our president-elect for the Palm City Chamber.
Yes, ma'am. President-elect. So next year I will be the president.
Oh, in 2020.
Yes, ma'am.
How exciting.
I'm excited about that.
Very nice. And what does the role of president for the Palm City Chamber entail?
The president leads the chamber.
Okay.
That's what we do. And we give those on my installation day.
Aha! I hope to
So
be in
stay tuned.
attendance. I love it. Now, Kirchman Construction has been around 48 years.
Yes,
Happy
ma'am.
birthday.
Thank you.
I'm giving away birthday compliments all month. That's what we're doing here.
Yep, since 1971, Ron Sr. and Linda, my mom and dad, established Kirchman Construction.
Oh,
And I've been working in construction trade since I was 10 years old.
absolutely.
And I'm still working in the trade. They've retired about 8 years ago, and I'm the sole owner of the company.
Wonderful.
And I continue the tradition.
Are your
moving forward.
folks still local?
Yes, they are.
Of course they are.
Yep.
You come here, you fall in love, you stay forever.
You have to
Word on
stay.
the streets.
It's a great place to live.
I love it. And recently, you actually just did a project at the Treasure Coast Humane Society, which is a friend of the program.
Correct. Yep. The Treasure Coast Humane Society originally built the building that they're in now about 15 years ago. And they recently hired us to build an outdoor dog pavilion with artificial turf to walk the dogs.
Cute.
And we just finished that project about a week ago, actually.
Wonderful. They are really important. I mean, let's face it, there's a lot of pups out there. There's a lot of cats. There's a lot of random animals that they also house
There is.
from the farm aspect of it and more. And so that's just really great that you're able to be a continuous resource for them. You have to have a safe, sound structure,
Absolutely.
and you can count on Kirchman Construction for that. Beside you is our numbers guy. Yeah, he's the board treasurer, and he's been a trusted CPA specializing in audits for 10 plus years here with HBK. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Ryan.
Well, I'm originally born in Youngstown, Ohio, where HBK CPAs is headquartered.
Oh.
We have offices here in Stewart. We have a few on the Gulf Coast, and we just opened the West Palm Beach office, actually.
Congratulations.
We also have had a satellite office in Fort Pierce. So we've been on the Treasure Coast since 1970. I moved originally 10 years ago, and as you said, fell in love.
Perpetual sunshine and palm trees.
I can't-
Sign me up.
Can't imagine leaving.
Exactly.
Yes.
So you do a lot of miles on the vehicle to come support and visit with your clients, I presume.
Mhm. Yes. Yes. For me specifically, as well as tax and compliance work, we do a lot of audited financial statements for not-for-profits similar to Humane Society or these different organizations in the area, which is a very rewarding process for us. Ultimately, we're helping those organizations reach their goals to fulfill grant requirements or potentially state statutes that mandate they have audits. That gives us a way in to ultimately become advisors as well.
Sure.
Obviously, it's important to us to keep independence, but through our job, it is most critical to help those organizations grow, to meet their goals, and help their boards achieve ultimately what their desired impact in the community is.
Makes perfect sense to me. And I know that before we went on air, we were talking about the value of the chamber from a business development standpoint. And whether you're talking about for-profit or not-for-profit, those relationships, whether you're looking at a donor or at a customer, stem from somewhere. And I believe that advertising is very effective. I believe that as a professional marketer and public relations specialist, that those messages are always possible from a bigger standpoint. Yet, I do believe that there is something so fundamental in the power of personal relationships and word of mouth, and that really can strengthen via use of one's chamber membership. Is that fair to say?
Yes, I agree 100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We find it to be a community of leaders, and ultimately these folks that join the chamber, they are committed, and it's not about putting a business card on a table or ultimately shaking a few hands and eating your breakfast and
then no follow-up ever,
Exactly.
which is ridiculous. Yeah.
It's a process. Business development isn't overnight, and for us in the accounting industry, it's can be anywhere from a 6 to an 18-month relationship building. Becoming a trusted advisor to someone's business or not-for-profit organization is a big step for a lot of owners and executive directors and individuals that are in charge of these companies to take. So we take a lot of pride in the chamber, being a community, being more oriented towards growing the membership, but the relationships ultimately.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that makes a
the
lot of
relationship's
sense.
a big thing, and going there and meeting people and getting to know them. And whenever you join the chamber, it's not just the one time. You need to go and get to know people. They get to know you. You establish that bond together, and ultimately work will follow, friendships will follow, and it's a great chamber.
So at the Palm City Chamber, there are a couple of opportunities throughout the month that are sort of set in stone that allows members to be able to network with one another. And then there are various annual events that folks can plan on. So I'm looking at our president-elect, Mr. Ronnie Kirchman, and you are great at directing traffic, I hear.
Directing traffic at Fall Fest.
Aha! I personally love Fall Fest. It's one of our favorite events to be a part of each and every year. It's just such a jolly time and typically kind of breezy. It's like not in the dead of summer,
Right.
the dog days of summer, if you will. And you see families come out, you see kids in costumes. I mean, you just see just a different sense of community. And there's the opportunity to chat with folks without feeling rushed. There's vendors, there's delicious food. I mean, it has everything.
Oh yeah, public officials are walking around. There's state officials walking around. It's great. Yeah, great. Yeah, I have 2 grandkids, and I take my grandkids there, and
Aw.
they get to actually paint on the sheriff deputies' cars.
Now, see, that's just an opportunity you don't get every day. For the record.
You know, I've been excited to be at the last 3 years fall festivals, and HBK sponsors the Pumpkin Patch, which is across
Love the
Yes.
pumpkin
right,
patch.
right across from the painting of the
car. Of the
police
sheriff's
car.
deputy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's just wonderful to see those kids running across back and forth. And, you know, they come pick up one of the smaller pumpkins and they're able to put stickers and use markers. And
Yep.
so it's
Customize their pumpkin.
exactly as Ronnie's directing the traffic for parking, I'm directing the kids to the tables to try and get them to stop for a moment. Luckily, we're under shade and the parents love it.
Aren't you brilliant?
Exactly.
See, that's what you want as your advisor, the gentleman that gives you the shady spot and complimentary pumpkins. It makes sense to
And
me.
brave also.
And brave. The children can be fearless with open
They can be.
markers. Yeah, don't wear white. I feel like that's my advice from the broadcast here today.
There you go.
And that's just one of the signature events. The installation is always something that brings out a lot of dignitaries and some of the bigger movers and shakers, if you will, of the county that can't necessarily make it to the monthly functions.
Right.
When can one expect the invitation to go out for the installation? When is the projected installation, perhaps?
I believe that is in January, is it not?
Oh, exciting. Okay, so
It's
so
January.
whomever it is gets to serve the full year. It
Correct.
doesn't change. You know,
Right.
some organizations it changes like in October or
Right.
November, so they get to serve the full year.
Right.
Oh, excellent.
Yes.
Will you be wearing a fancy little suit?
You- And a tie.
And
also.
a tie.
Yeah.
Pop a color,
all-
maybe?
Get all dressed up and,
Yeah,
you know.
I love it. Now, historically in the past, Kirchman Construction has also participated in the White Glove Moving and Storage Food Drive.
We have.
Yeah,
absolutely.
and
Yeah.
overfilled your box.
Yes.
Love that. What are some of the other community passions that Kirchman Construction has aside from the chamber and the various one-off opportunities where they can collaborate with local chamber members to give back?
One thing we like to do is give back to the community and
Yeah.
give back to the youth, the kids is one thing. Elevate Hope is one of our
Great
our
organization.
organizations that we donate to. They're a fantastic organization. You'd be surprised how many people are homeless in Martin County, in this
It's
beautiful community we
sad.
live in.
Yeah.
There's a lot of homeless kids that have no house. They're living in cars or the streets, which is sad. But we'd give back to them. There's other organizations. The Humane Society is another one.
Mhm.
We do a lot of veterinarian hospitals.
Oh.
So we have our passionate veterinarian hospitals, and we'd like to give back to the animals.
Wow, that's wonderful. I suppose that there's a niche for everything, you know? I mean, the
There is,
veterinarian hospitals require certain, I would assume, like you can't have the standard bed size that you would for humans. I mean, there's just like one small difference right there. I would expect that there's a couple of
Oh, yeah.
specialty things. For
Oh, there
them.
is. You have indoor air quality you have to
Ah,
maintain because if you
right.
have an
All the
infectious
dog
dog in the
dander.
isolation unit, you
Oh.
can't contaminate the other dogs. So you have to make sure that's
Sure.
controlled. The flooring is a special product you put down to keep urine from
Oh.
going anywhere or making a mess. And
True, I hadn't even
paints
thought
on the
of that.
walls, same thing, epoxy paint.
Mhm.
So
Look at that.
Yep.
Now, if folks are interested, they know that they might be renovating their existing commercial space. They might be looking to build new because they need more parking or they just are looking for a better location. How can they contact Kirchman Construction? What is the best way for them to reach out to your team?
The best way to do is call the office at 772-283-4256. They can also look us up on the website at kirchmanconstruction.com. And we do have a Facebook page with a lot of our completed projects, ongoing projects, and some of our community items, things that we do for the community.
I think that that's so important to have an updated social media these days because folks really do a lot of digging. You know, I read recently a statistic where like 90% of all research is done ahead of time online before they actually go about making those final steps to having a transaction.
Yep, absolutely.
So you want to make sure that it's easy for them to find all the good stuff.
Right.
And Kirchman, can you give us the spelling so that when they go to look you up on your website?
Kirchman Construction is KIRCHMAN Construction, CONSTRUCTION.com.
All righty. Now, Ryan, let's talk a little bit more about the numbers because this as HBK, which is an acronym for
Hill, Barth, and King.
All righty. They have, like you had mentioned earlier, a regional presence outside of just the Treasure Coast.
Yes.
With representation in what states again?
Ohio, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Florida.
I think that that's really valuable to have that insight of other states, especially with New Jersey being one of the states that folks are leaving in great numbers to come to Florida. So I feel like that's very valuable connections there, especially for our listeners that know of folks that are coming down. I would love to move them. And now we obviously have the opportunity to get them in some good care when it comes to some numbers and some wealth management and CPA opportunities. But let's delve a little bit deeper because you've been here in the Treasure Coast a long time. A predominant number of your clients are here. What is it that makes HBK so special and unique as compared to other CPAs in the area?
Well, I think it's the regional ability, the depth of professionals that we have in the Northeast and in the Southeast region of the United States. But our employees all live here. You know, we have people that travel across the state from the Gulf Coast to help us undertake certain jobs. But, you know, ultimately, like you had mentioned, we have wealth management, we have tax compliance services, we have forensic accounting, litigation support. You know, we have many service lines. So it's always a free consultation.
Oh, that's good.
Ultimately, we want to understand any one person's or organization's position in the community and ultimately what their goals are. So that, like you had said, it's a varying array of potential issues, potential items to focus on. But ultimately, we look at it as a holistic approach. So we don't just want to service you in one area. We really would love to have the whole picture, because if it's the wealth management and the tax compliance work, that's one piece. Individuals with certain severance pays and all these different things that compile up to, if you don't have the whole picture, it's oftentimes difficult to advise on a high level. Now, granted, obviously certain things we understand that that may not be our best fit, and you may have a professional in that. And if you're being serviced well and you're happy, ultimately we're a second advisor if we have one piece of the puzzle that we want to operate and work with those individuals. So it is important to us to have local professionals. As Ronnie had mentioned, we have one individual in our firm that's on the Elevate Hope board. I also serve as a treasurer for the Martin County Interagency Coalition. So I think one thing that sets us apart is we are ingrained in the community. We're committed to the community, and ultimately, you know, we can always help in a lot of different ways that people don't initially realize.
Sure. And I think that so many times when folks are excited and they start a business or they follow a passion and form a nonprofit for a cause that's near and dear to their heart, they don't necessarily realize all the back end that goes into that and the sensitivity of so many of the statutes and those numbers that correlate to them. So it is great to know that there's a resource. It's a complementary resource to at least have those first conversations. And at HBK, you had mentioned a couple of charities that you are active with. Are there any other events that really stand out in your mind that you love here in Martin County that you want folks to be on the lookout for? Because before we know it, we're wrapping up summer and delving right into fall.
It's Palm City Fall Fest.
All the way. He's like, I love giving away pumpkins. It's just fun.
It's really an amazing thing to see that many people come out, and there's entertainment for all. And we have the cars.
Yes, the big car show is part of it. Yeah,
the vendors, the children. There's good food. It's just the perfect time of year here. I think between September and October,
really
that's
is
one
a
that
sweet spot.
We're really looking forward to. Luckily for us in the CPA world, typically the summer months are a little slower. So, it's just what a wonderful place to live in.
And of course, we're looking for sponsors also.
Yes.
For Fall Fest.
For Fall
How
Fest.
convenient. Our president-elect,
So,
Mr. Ronnie Kirchman.
gonna
Look at you doing that plug.
Throw that out there.
I
and
like it.
You can contact the Palm City Chamber. They can give you more information about sponsorship. But you'll be able to set up a booth, a tent with all your products around it, and people can come by there and get to know you better and purchase your products.
It's a win-win.
It is.
Now, that's always at what time? That's always in October.
It is.
Yes.
I believe it's October 26th.
Wonderful. So right before Halloween, hence the kids coming in their costumes and hopefully vendors are giving away some candies and all of that good jazz. If I could just mention, as a active member with the Palm City Chamber, looking at stepping up our relationship and entering into President's Council. I was so excited when I got the invitation. At White Glove Moving and Storage, one of our favorite things is, though, taking advantage of the monthly functions, because so many people are new to the community, are new members, and they're getting their dipping their toe in the water, if you will. You can always count on the Palm City Chamber to be hosting their monthly breakfast the last Wednesday of the month.
Yep, correct.
Which is a great event. And it always rotates at different venues. And then there's the quarterly lunch and learn.
Yes.
Okay. And that also rotates. So they have a very active website with an up-to-date calendar, up-to-date Facebook page. So you can check that out. And then, of course, there's oftentimes mixers and ribbon cutting sprinkled throughout the month where you can go into someone's business and be able to meet and get some of the behind the scenes. Have either of you ever hosted one? I know I have.
Actually, I have not.
Oh, well, let's
But
get
I
you on
guess
the
I'm gonna have
docket.
to.
That is right. Because those are really fun. You're mixing, it's a little after hours thing when you're doing the business and pleasure kind of mixer. And I hosted mine with Coulter Homes at one of their models. It was really beautiful.
Oh, very nice.
It was a lot of fun there. Canyon Creek. It was beautiful. Yeah, indeed. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Martin County Movers and Shakers. Today on the show, we had Palm City Chamber members Ronnie Kirchman of Kirchman Construction and Ryan D'Annunzio of HBK. Gentlemen, thank you so much. We look forward to
Thank
seeing
you.
you out at Fall Fest. Until next week, cheers.